Happy Monday, Rutgers. I'm Manuel Silva-Paulus.
And I'm Kim Peterman. We have a fantastic show lined up for you. It is Monday, April 2nd, 2018.
Weather Watcher Max Hazzon will give you the regional and big picture forecast for the day.
Ivha Enike-Ekhelar will paint the town scarlet at Follow the Drinking Gourd.
Thomas Sokolowski from the Zimmerli Art Museum will visit later in the show.
We've got tons to get to. Let's wake up, Rutgers.
Hello and good morning, Rutgers. It's great to be here on this snowy Monday morning.
We're here to wake you up every Monday morning this semester with all the exciting news, events, and weather. So how was your weekend, Manny?
My weekend was interesting. I feel like all of my friends went out this weekend and I stayed in and finished a quiz. I didn't have time to do any of that. But on Saturday, I did get to see Love, Simon, which was really great.
I really wanted to see that movie. I've heard good things.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a really good coming out movie, but I do think that Call Me By Your Name was better.
Well, I mean, Call Me By Your Name is a fairly high bar.
It is. It's very true. I ended up seeing it, rewatching it for the second time right after I saw Love, Simon, because why not knock out two LGBTQ plus themed movies out in one night, you know?
That sounds like a great night.
It was. It truly was.
Yeah, I saw The Shape of Water this weekend, so it's just like we're getting caught up on our critically acclaimed movies.
Yeah, I've been meaning to see that. I've heard so many good things.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Also, there were certain sound effects that I could live without hearing. But overall, it was a very good movie. Max, did you do anything fun with your weekend?
Honestly, not really. I had to stay up here and work all weekend, and I also have 2 exams this week as well. So I pretty much had to stay here and study this weekend, and also for this week. Unfortunately as well, that my little niece did a little Easter egg hunt at her house, so it also really sucked that I couldn't see my little niece do the little Easter egg hunt at her house. Overall, with the exams, I hope I actually do very well after studying so hard this weekend, and hopefully I could get that A and make my parents proud. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Max. I hope that you do well in your exams, too. Yeah, in the past, I've had exams following the holiday weekend, and I still had to go and hang out with my family, which I guess has saved me from missing, my little cousins doing their Easter egg hunt, but it's also, the extra study time is always nice.
Yeah, speaking of Easter, how was your Easter, Kim?
My Easter was very good. I went to see my family, and I got lots of chocolate, and I love Easter chocolate. It's so artistically molded.
Yeah, I mean, I love Easter chocolate, mostly for the chocolate, but I think the art is definitely a great addition. And speaking of art, we're going to be celebrating art in 2 ways today. We'll be taking a look at the Zimmerli Art Museum with Thomas Sokolowski, and musical art by looking at the Harlem Renaissance at the Follow the Drinking Gourd event.
Yeah, I know that I love going to the Zimmerli, and the Follow the Drinking Gourd event was a lot of fun. It had a lot of the jazz standards that I know I loved when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really listen to jazz that much, but I'm looking forward to seeing, the sounds of the Harlem Renaissance and, really get into the feeling of it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like both will be very informative and a lot of fun.
Yeah, but before we can get to that, and let's see how much you know.
When was the Zimmerli Art Museum founded? We will find out the answer right after this.
This is Kate. Kate never utilized the many great resources Rutgers has to offer. Now, Kate doesn't have a job. Don't want to end up like Kate? Then you should go to University Career Services. University Career Services provides career-related counseling, resources, and programs to help individuals clarify academic and career goals, establish career plans, develop job search skills, and make successful career transitions. The mission is to build relationships with alumni, employers, and graduate schools to optimize internship, job, and career opportunities. From workshops and webinars to fairs and other recruiter visits, the staff within University Career Services works tirelessly to prepare students and connect them to the world of work. For more information, visit careers.rutgers.edu.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Before the break, we asked, when was the Zimmerli Art Museum founded? Now it's time to find out the answer.
The Zimmerli Art Museum was founded in 1966 and is known internationally for its unique collection of Soviet nonconformist art. The Soviet nonconformist art is definitely really weird. I particularly like the disembodied hands doing things.
Yeah,
sculptures.
I'm looking forward to talking with Thomas Sokolowski more about that because I'm really into art museums, so I'm really excited to see what's in store.
Yeah, they're always a great place to go to, with friends, because there's always a conversation starter right there.
Definitely agreed.
Max, was there going to be any days where it's good to go to an art museum this week?
Kim, as they say, April showers do bring May flowers, and that's what we'll be seeing for most of the week. We will see one day that's really going to be relatively nice. I'll talk more about that in the extended forecast. But good morning, Rutgers. If you guys haven't looked outside your window yet, you definitely have not seen the snow that has fallen down in our region, but we're going to actually see that taper off by this afternoon. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Here to give you this week's weather, I'm Max Hazzon, and here's this week's forecast. For our almanac, we had a morning low of 32 degrees, just slightly below our average temperature of 36 degrees. We will not be reaching our average high temperature of 57 degrees, and we definitely will not be breaking our record lows and high temperatures for this time of year. But for our headlines, that snow will be clearing out by noon today, giving us drier conditions for the rest of the day. But tomorrow and Wednesday, we're going to see more rain chances pop up, even possibly a run below thunder Tuesday night and into Wednesday. And also, we are looking at Doppler radar right now for possibly another snowstorm this weekend. But for right now, we have a winter weather advisory in effect until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for our region. The 1 to 2 inches that we've seen so far, we could see another 1 to 2 inches after the snow passes. But let's take a look at the futurecast. So the heaviest of snow has really ended. It's more light snow right now, light snow showers. That will continue on through the rest of the morning, clears out for the rest of the day, but then another chance of showers, possibly heavy at times, comes in tomorrow and into Wednesday. But for today, though, that snow that I mentioned will be clearing out by noon with a high temperature of 45 degrees. That snow is going to be mostly slush on the roads, and if anything, the snow is going to be sticking to the surfaces. Winds will be coming out of the northwest at 6 to 10 miles per hour. And as we break that down, decreasing clouds throughout the day, 36 degrees at 10 a.m. The snow will still be heavy, moderately heavy at times, at 43 degrees at 2 p.m. with cloudy skies, but then it starts to decrease at 6 p.m. with some peaks of sunshine at 44 degrees, and at 10 p.m. partly cloudy skies, temperature of 40 degrees. But for tonight, though, low temperature of 35 degrees, those clouds will be decreasing, and we could see mostly clear skies, winds out of the south at 3 to 5 miles per hour. Now looking at our regional high temperatures, pretty consistent across the region. 43 in Oneonta at our Rutgers Camden campus at 46 degrees, and in Baltimore, our warm spot at 51 degrees. And for our regional low temperatures, Oneonta at 27 degrees, that's our cool spot. At our Rutgers Newark campus, 37 degrees. And our warm spots are in Baltimore and at our Rutgers Camden campus at 38 degrees. And for tomorrow, finally, we will be seeing some April showers, temperatures in the 50s, right around 50 degrees. Winds out of the northeast at 5 to 10 miles, 5 miles per hour. I'll talk more in the extended day forecast in a little bit, but back to you guys.
Thanks, Max. I know that I was shocked this morning when I went outside and it was just all white.
Definitely, I was gagged. I looked out the window and I was like, no, I can't.
Yeah, no. When I got to RUTV to clock in, I saw my reflection in the window of the door, and I looked like Rogue from X-Men. Just this entire side of my hair was white.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise to wake up this morning and see all that snow.
But thankfully, I know this is not much of it, thankfully, but thankfully it will just be rain tomorrow rather than the solid precipitation.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer just dry not wet weather. But
at this point, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll take what not snow I can get.
Yeah. But we'll be hearing more about the forecast later in the show. But before that, we're going to get into some news and events right after this.
Wait, what do you think you're doing? Don't you see the recycling can right next to you?
Does it really matter? All goes to the same place anyway.
Actually, no it doesn't. Rutgers has a really great recycling system.
Did you know that almost 75% of Rutgers waste doesn't end up in landfills? And by 2020, the university plans to make that 90%.
I really want to recycle, but it's just so much work.
You're making it a lot harder than it has to be.
Rutgers has single-stream recycling, which means all your paper, cardboard, plastics, and metals can be mixed together. For more information, go to www.ipo.rutgers.edu/recyclingrutgers.
Welcome back, Rutgers. We just heard about the weather. So let's see what's going to be going on with all this snow and precipitation this week with some news and events.
Last week, former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton came to Rutgers to speak to the Rutgers community about a variety of topics. As Eagleton's 2017-2018 Clifford P. Case Professor of Public Affairs, she participated in a public dialogue with the director of the Eagleton Institute of Politics, Ruth B. Mandel. Over the course of the conversation, she went over the difficulties that people seeking to make change in the political scene face, but expressed hope for increasing the voice of women and underrepresented minorities in politics. At the conversation, Hillary said, "I'm so encouraged and actually optimistic about the number of women, particularly young women, who are running for office or who are active in politics, even if they themselves are not the candidates. I believe we are on the brink of crossing over." So I think that's super cool. I think it's awesome that Rutgers invites such notable and relevant speakers to the university. I know last year when the election was going on, we had Bernie Sanders, and I know a bunch of students were really excited about that.
Yeah, and then in the fall we had Joe Biden. They're just really good at getting all these important people to come and speak at Rutgers, which is amazing for us as an educational resource. Speaking of important, a vital document to Judaism was recently purchased by the Library of Congress with the help of Rutgers scholar Gary Rensburg. This document is the oldest and most legible Torah scroll sheet to exist. It contains portions of the Book of Exodus, which is the second part of the Torah. Former student Ann Brenner came across the document and sent Rensburg an email containing a description of it. Rensburg immediately knew what it was and agreed that it would be an important addition to the Library of Congress. Since the edition was required, it has shed light on important details of the religion's history. So that's really cool. As a classics major, reading old text just always fascinates me, and to have one that's so important to a religion in the Library of Congress available to study is amazing.
Yeah, and it's also super cool that sometimes you don't realize how much there has been that's yet to been discovered, So it's just cool to really find out about these pieces of text that no one has, unearthed yet.
Yeah, and Jewish culture is just such an interesting one with such a long history that having something that can shed more light and bring more to the discussion is always interesting.
For sure, agreed. One of the cultures that I'm more a part of is the fashion culture. So if you're looking to don some denim, you can go to the Denim Day Fashion Show, a fashion show co-sponsored by Rupa, Rutgers No More, and Scream Theater. And this show is in honor of Denim Day, which is a national campaign to help raise awareness and end sexual violence. The show will include performances by VPVA and Shockwave. So make sure to strike a pose at the event tomorrow, April 3rd, from 8 to 10 p.m. at the College Avenue Student Center Multipurpose Room. For more information, visit rupa.rutgers.edu and look under events. So this event sounds super cool. I'm super interested to see what types of looks people bring out. Will it be light wash denim, dark denim? Who knows? There's such a variety you can go with denim.
They're going to make a peacock thing behind them out of denim.
Yes, I have all the time for that look.
That would actually be amazing. I just wish that more students had time to make that, and then it would be the perfect fashion show.
Yeah, we can go thrifting and just buy some denim and just put some stuff together. Use some hot glue.
Yes, and it's events like that that really help create a sense of community at Rutgers. And speaking of being a part of a community, if you're graduating this year and identify as Black or Latinx, don't forget to sign up for the Rites of Passage ceremony. The ceremony is a pre-commencement celebration to honor Black and Latinx identifying students that are completing an undergraduate or graduate degree at Rutgers. The ceremony will include student awards, live performances, and will end in the Kente Stoll presentation. All students that wish to participate in the ceremony must register online by April 30th at prcc.rutgers.edu/ROP2018. So that looks like a really fun event for members of the Black and Latinx community at Rutgers. Just a great way to commemorate their time at Rutgers and their time as a part of that community.
Yeah, definitely. I think acknowledging the Black and Latinx experience of students at college university is really great.
Yeah, and Rutgers does a lot to celebrate all sorts of heritages. For example, they had Follow the Drinking Gourd a couple months ago.
Yeah, and I was really looking forward to going to that. You know, I didn't have time to, but I think we can definitely learn a lot from the Harlem Renaissance and the music that era had.
Yeah, and for those of us who couldn't make it, to learn more, we will now go to that event with Ivha Enike-Ekhelar.
Hello Rutgers, I'm Ivha Enike-Ekhelar. Today I'm at Trey's Hall for the Follow the Drinking Gourd performance. The singing trio will show you the African American experience through music. Let's go check it out.
Follow the Drinking Gourd is a performance group that, it's named after Follow the Big Dipper, which was the way in which slaves escaping the South and coming up north would move north. So Follow the Drinking Gourd is a song that was used by the slaves to tell each other in code how to get out of the South to move north.
We perform music from the Harlem Renaissance. That's the period between 1920, roughly between 1920 and 1940 in Harlem.
The Harlem Renaissance is not something just like a museum piece. It's going to be 100 years old in just a few years. We were talking about the 1920s and 30s. And this music was a really wonderful time of creativity. And I don't think we've seen the likes of it since.
What we hope that, number one, people take away is that this music is very exciting and this music is very valid now. And number two, we want people to understand that, that the African American experience and culture in the 1920s and 30s was vital and alive and created a lot of really good stuff that hopefully people will see this and say, boy, I need to know more about that. And they'll explore this opportunity, they'll take an opportunity to explore this more.
Well, Rutgers, I hope you enjoyed this cultural experience as much as I did. Until next time, keep painting the town scarlet. I'm Ivha Enike-Ekhelar, RUTV.
Come on down to Tuxedo Junction right now.
Well, welcome back, Rutgers. That was a really great package. I know I enjoyed listening to those tunes.
Yeah, I love that time. I particularly love scatting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it always looks like so much fun, and seeing someone who knows what they're doing do it is amazing.
Yeah, I love seeing people who have skills and are able to apply it in a way that other people can enjoy. I think that's always such a great opportunity.
Yeah, and hopefully for any other events where people are showing off their skills this week, the weather will be permitting for people to come out. Max, will there be blue sky smiling at us later on in the week?
Well, Kim, as I mentioned before, that there's only going to be one day that we're going to see some blue skies and dry conditions. That day will be on Thursday. For most of the week, though, it's going to be snow Monday, rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, though. High temperature for today at 45 degrees. Tuesday and Wednesday, rain in the forecast, possibly windy conditions on Wednesday. High temperature of 50 degrees on Tuesday and warming up to 67 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday, though, is when it really dries out. We'll have a day of clear skies, maybe a few clouds, 47 degrees. And Friday, Rain comes back with windy conditions, high temperature of 53 degrees. So if you're planning on going to the Zimmerli Art Museum for most of this week, bring an umbrella with you. You're definitely going to need it. But that's all from me. If you miss me or any of the other weather watchers, you can check us out on channel 23.1 every 15 minutes. You can like us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/RUWeatherWatcher or follow us on Twitter at RUTVWW and submit your photos using the hashtag RUWeather. And for more information, come to our website at weatherwatcher.rutgers.edu. I'm Max Hazzon. Have a great rest of your day, and check out Ashley Cornish's forecast on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. here on Wake Up Rutgers. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Max. Yeah, the weather definitely it seems to be very down on us lately.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to all the wet weather, but I'm sure myself and my fellow students will make the most of it, you know?
Yeah, hopefully they can use the snow today to like make a snow sculpture or something vaguely artistic.
Yeah, and if they want to see even more art, they can go to the Zimmerli Art Museum, and we'll be learning more about that with Thomas Sokolowski right after this.
The Rutgers libraries have some of the biggest resources this university has to offer. There are 9 libraries located throughout all campuses with convenient hours to fit any student schedule.
The Alexander Library on College Ave campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m., a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Art Library, located on College Ave behind Scott Hall, is open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Carr Library on Livingston campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m., a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Chang Library on the Douglas campus is open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Mabel Smith Douglas Library on the Douglas campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m., a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Library of Science and Medicine on Bush campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m., a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Math and Physics Library inside of the Hill Center on Bush campus is open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m.
There's plenty of space for everyone at the library, so come inside. Shh.
Welcome back, Rutgers. We are very excited to welcome Thomas Sokolowski, who is the director of the Zimmerli Art Museum. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Manuel.
So what is the Zimmerli Art Museum, and where are you located?
We're located at 71 Hamilton Street at the corner of Georgia Street, right across from the historic Johnson & Johnson headquarters, who was a great sponsor of ours. I have to give them credit for that. And we are one of the largest university art museums with collections nearing 75 to 80,000 works of art, with collections of French 19th century works on paper, Toulouse-Lautrec, Degas, Manet, things that many of your listeners may be are familiar with, but also we're really renowned for our Russian nonconformist art made between 1940 and 1990 when Glasnost happened and all fell apart. It was collected by a man named Norton Dodge, who traveled there, had not been an art collector, but was invited to a sort of underground drinking club, and he met poets and artists and rap people before there was rap, at least in Russia, and started buying this art, which was very cheap because they couldn't sell it publicly because it was criticizing the Soviet Empire. And but throughout the years, he collected what came down to about 40,000 works of art that he would bring in clandestinely in his luggage. And because he was a well-regarded economist, no one bothered him. Someone else, like you or me, they would have sort of thrown us in the pokey. Anyway, so then he looked for universities to house his collection and came to Zimmerli around 1990 or so, and the rest is history.
Wow, so that sounds really amazing. On top of that amazing collection, are there any new exhibits that students should be looking out for at the Zimmerli?
Well, there's a couple. The main exhibition that we have on now is called Set in Stone, which is a history of lithography, printing on a piece of stone, from 1812 or so to the beginning of the 19th century, and a lot of those well-known Impressionist, Post-Impressionist artists are included in it. You'll probably see images of posters that people have in their dorm rooms of some of the famous Toulouse-Lautrec images. We have a great show about prisons because we're convoking a couple of conferences at the museum, and one music event that deals with prisons today. Are they really something that's horrible, Grand Guignol, or are they places where people can get rehabilitated? And we did so our collection is so rich that we were able to pull things from all the various American. There's an image of Martin Luther King in jail. There are images of Stalags in the communist empire. And then there are things from a museum of a concentration camp, actually, that was in New Brunswick, but not New Jersey, but in New Brunswick, Canada, in Newfoundland. So that's sort of an interesting thing that people who have ideas about, many artists now are working with prisoners to rehabilitate them. And then we also have a really nice show called Impresiones, 1930 to 1950, which is about printing in Mexico, and has works by Diego Rivera. And we had our last opening for Art After Hours. The newly created Mexican American Student Association worked with us, and we had 500 people doing sambas, and there was a number of dances I'd never heard of, but people were dancing and great music. And this was a project where one of our undergraduate interns co-curated the show with one of our curators. So it gives you some of the great opportunities that people are interested in working in a museum, doing art history. They can come to the Zimmerli and really get into the meat of things.
Wow, it sounds like a really great event for students to come out to. Are there any other events that students should be
Well, every Tuesday, every first Tuesday of the month, and that will be tomorrow, the 3rd of April. This one we're focusing on a photographer from the West Coast named Bill Owens, who does sort of the streetscapes of America, looking images into people's refrigerators. And they're fascinating. Think of your own refrigerator, what it looks like. Most of mine you would want to see. But they're 5 to 8:30 or 9, and there's food and drink and music and dancing and spoken word, and tour of the exhibition. The entire museum is open. And then we will be having, as we have now done for 2 or 3 years, study all night, which is, I think it's a Thursday before the exam period begins, and the museum's open for 24 hours, and people can come in their pajamas, and they do, and study. We set up tables and terminals so you can plug in your computer. There are yoga classes when people get stressed out, and shoulder massages. So people, and we get a lot of people. Probably, it sort of winnows down at 4 o'clock, but up in the a.m. But a lot of people come and they say it's much more relaxing and quiet than the library. And we get all these people from the yard, bring sandwiches and cookies and that free of charge. So it's a nice place to study when you're getting totally stressed out for exams.
Yeah, definitely. Studying in an art museum sounds like a lot of fun. So you've recently become director of the Zimmerli Art Museum. Yes. What has been your favorite part of working there so far? Well,
I once worked as the director of NYU's museum, the Gray Art Gallery, for about 15 years. And then in the interim, just before coming here, I was the director of the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh. But I missed, as great as that was at Andy Warhol's, one of the great avatars of late 20th century art, I missed working with a major university because we have all these options. I mean, for example, our fall show will be devoted to the graphic artist Alison Bechdel, who talks about her life coming out as a young lesbian, and that was her book that became the show Fun Home that many people have saw on Broadway. And so we're dealing with the Tyler Clemente Center and a lot of faculty and students dealing with LGBTQ issues, and we hope to have a big seminar about that. And I think only at a big university can you draw on all those resources. And then in the spring, our big show will be called Scandalous. And it's going to deal with what caused scandal or responded to scandal all the way back to the 5th century in Athens up till we'll have a lot of scandalous Trump images, you can imagine. So that should be a very interesting show as well.
Definitely. So where can students go for more information about the Zimmerli Art Museum?
Well, look at our website, which is zimmerli.rutgers.edu, and you can find everything about these projects, temporary events. You can find images about what's in our collection, and that's growing day by day as we scan and add more images there. So as a study tool, as a resource for activities, and even if you want to give some money, we'd love that.
So thank you so much for joining me and telling us about all the Zimmerli Art Museum has to offer. Stay tuned, Rutgers. We still have lots of show left to go, and we'll be right back.
Rutgers University is now offering a master's program in UN and Global Policy Studies. This new program is the only one of its kind in the United States. The curriculum for this program is designed to provide students with qualitative and quantitative analytical skills, as well as hands-on management experience required by leaders in the field. All applicants must hold a bachelor's degree from an accredited college. The program of study requires 36 credits and is open to both part-time and full-time students. For application information and to apply online, check out gradstudy.rutgers.edu. For more information, check out unstudies.rutgers.edu.
Well, Rutgers, that'll do it for today's show.
For more events happening this week, you can go to getinvolved.rutgers.edu or ruevents.rutgers.edu.
Follow us on Facebook by searching RUTV Network or follow us on Twitter by searching @Wake Up Rutgers. We love hearing from you.
Tune into Thursday's show with Ivha Enike-Ekhelar and Adia Dowdy for more Rutgers news.
Thanks again for tuning in and to Thomas for joining us. I'm Kim Peterman.
And I'm Manuel Silva-Paulus. Have a great week, Rutgers.